Mom deserves the best, and there's no better place to shop for Mother's Day than Whole Foods Market. They're your destination for unbeatable savings, from premium gifts to show-stopping flowers and irresistible desserts. Start by saving 33% with Prime on all body care and candles. Then get a 15-stem bunch of tulips for just $9.99 each with Prime. Round out Mom's menu with festive rosé, irresistible berry chantilly cake, and more special treats. Come celebrate Mother's Day at Whole Foods Market.
You've heard of wine sommeliers, but today on CityCast Las Vegas, we're talking to a certified tea sommelier. We've got Yukino Aoshima, and she's going to tell us what her job as a tea expert entails, give us some tips for brewing at home, and walk us through some of the tastiest teas in Las Vegas. It's Thursday, May 9th. I'm Sarah Lohman, and here's what Las Vegas is talking about. Yukino, what does a tea sommelier do?
Just like any other sommelier that you will find at restaurants, handling all the wines, but think about all the teas. So I go into the restaurant and creating and maintain the tea list and tea menus for the restaurant, selecting teas that complement the cuisine and the price point, provide tea recommendations, pairings to guests based on their preferences or the dishes that they ordered. I also train and educate all the restaurant staffs, servers, bartenders, including all the management teams on tea knowledge, service, and sales. I would manage tea inventory, ordering, receiving. I also collaborate with the culinary team in the kitchen so the tea pairing goes beyond the dining room. I would conduct tea tastings and staying up to date on all the trends, the regions, varietals, everything that you can think of tea.
Wow, it really is like you're a wine sommelier, but it's all for tea, but it's all a lot of the same things. I have never had the pleasure of being in a restaurant where I get tea pairings or the chance to consult with a tea sommelier, which I would love because I am a big tea drinker. I love tea. Are you allowed to say some of the restaurants that you've worked with here in Las Vegas?
Sure. I had a collaboration with Food Hall at the Cosmopolitan, Tao at Venetian. They have fun tea selections over there. There's so many. You can think of every single restaurant on the strip inside of every single casinos that I had staff training and assisted with their tea service.
That's so cool. Well, actually, speaking of Black 16 at the Cosmopolitan, you actually recommended me something there, which I went ahead and tried. You told me to get the draft matcha latte at Bang Bar. And it was really delicious. It's just like creamy and frothy and green, both in flavor and color. And I really, really, really loved it. So thank you for that recommendation.
You're welcome.
I was curious, so that I can go drink more delicious things. Do you have any sort of other local like tea treats or teas that you'd recommend?
Sure. I tend to find really fine tea selections at steakhouses somehow.
Interesting.
It could be because they always have a tea menu, coffee menu, along with the alcohol listings that's printed along with the dessert menu. So when you finish your entree and then server will approach your table and then offer you a dessert. And then they will always bring the whole tray of all the beverages and potential desserts in a very classic way. Or if not, then it's that mini small menu that they hand it to you, and then they have a whole page of desserts and also suggested pairings of regards to, is that the aperitivo, like something that you drink after meals, and then coffee and tea. And oftentimes they have a whole list of tea on that menu. If not, then trained restaurant staff will bring the whole tea chest. So they will bring you the chest by your table, and then they will open it up the chest and explain to you all the selections of tea that they offer.
So luxurious. It is getting warm now. Do you do iced tea? Do you do bubble tea personally?
Of course I do, yes. I personally enjoy the sweet level much lower, like quarter the sweetness.
What's your favorite like flavor / add-in combination if you're going to a bubble tea place?
Ooh, before I answer that question, I will tell you how I choose what boba tea shop to go to.
Please.
First, I need to make sure boba tea shop offer full leaf tea. So if you go to tea convention, you will find so many vendors sells powdered tea, powdered boba tea / drink concoction starter kit. So all boba shop do is just mix this powder to the water. But as a tea specialist, I gotta enjoy the full leaf experience, right?
Because they're relying on the sugar in it, right? To appeal to people as opposed to like the sort of magical, like full tea bloom flavor.
Yes. So, brew tea bar. So they have now multiple locations in town. I even know the owner in person. He goes to tea harvesting countries and sells the full leaf and then use that and batch brew really, really strong tea concentrate. And then they mix with the cream and milk and all the good stuff to turn it into milk tea, sweet boba drinks.
My mouth is actually watering. I love tea that much. Do you have a standard order when you go to brew tea bar?
I really enjoyed their rose oolong with a dash of a cream. That was surprisingly nice. Like it was so elegant. Like you feel like you can smell yourself with the rose scent after drinking the whole cup. I like that. But I always go to boba tea shop and then get their really standard milk tea.
Yeah.
That way I can compare from one to another. Then I can see if I like their, level of bitterness to like toasty note or whatever the type of black tea that they use.
Same. I always go for standard milk tea with regular boba. That's like my favorite.
Yeah.
Quarter sweet, like you. I want to taste the tea. Sometimes I'll go for the almond flavored one, though, if I'm looking for something that's a little more like ice cream. Actually, speaking of like sweet teas and matcha, like Americans tend to drink matcha really sweet, right? It really started here not as a beverage, but as an ingredient in baked goods. That's kind of how it first came into the country. It's a big flavor trend. Do you think that Americans are getting matcha wrong?
I don't think so. Even if you go to Japan, you will find matcha in sweet items and savory items and with milk, without milk, with sugar, without sugar. So I think there's nothing wrong. I just wish that more people will have access to fresher matcha.
Yeah.
So if you see your tea little brown, then I wouldn't go back. I personally know what the fresh matcha looks like and what they taste like. It's super grassy. Think of spinach, think of artichoke. It's all the leafy greens. That note, if you've had spinach before and if you taste anything matcha and pick up that grassy note, you're on a good boat. So that vibrant green, as if it's colored, but no, it's that matcha is something, the whole leaf of tea is turned into the powder format. You're consuming the entire tea leaves instead of dried leaves steeped into the hot water and you're drinking that liquid. So super vibrant green color and then the grassy note. That's the hint. That's what you want to find in your matcha product.
Hey, it's David Figler, and one of my favorite food festivals is coming back to town. It's Vegas Unstripped over at the Palms Hotel on Saturday, May 18th. Over 24 chefs from some of Las Vegas's most talked about restaurants creating original, unique menu items they've never made before. Chef creativity at its best. We're talking chefs from Partage, Esther's Kitchen, Milpa, EDO, and more, including this year's James Beard Award finalist Steve Kessler from Aroma. Tickets are $150 and are all-inclusive of food and drink, so you don't have to pay for anything once you're inside. No hidden upcharges. I went last year, and it was so crowded in the best possible way. We got one remarkable dish after another, and while it was a little indulgent, here's the best part. The net proceeds go to local charities. So head on over to vegasunstripped.com to get your tickets now. We'll see you there.
Okay, let's talk about tea at home a little bit. Will you
Sure.
tell me about your tea wall?
Oh my God. Woo! Yes. What do you want to know?
Describe it for us. What is your tea wall?
The entire width of a living room has this shelving unit up to the height of the window. And every single shelf is filled with this 4 ounces tea tin that's lined up from the category of black tea, Chinese tea, Japanese tea, all the flavored teas, and non-caffeinated tea/tea.
I can tell you're looking at it right now. Yeah, you're admiring it. Because I love that it's also out so that you can sort of look at it and think about it. You don't have your tea away in a cupboard somewhere.
No, like I can, but then I need to see it. Like I get this question all the time. What's your favorite tea? Like you asking me now, then I will answer to the question with my mood, with what I'm going to eat with, who I'm sharing the tea with. That my favoriteness changes every minute.
Yes.
So I just wake up in the morning, I start my kettle, and then. But you know what? I do actually admire the whole tea wall and then decide what tea I want to have. That way I know the temperature of the water needs to be and then start the kettle. Pretty much that's the order. So I don't pair the food to the drink. I pair the tea to my mood.
Yes.
Yeah.
And these are teas that you've collected from all over the world?
Yes.
And you've touched on this a little bit, that you said that you like to pick what tea you're going to have, and then you set the kettle because each tea has to have a slightly different temperature. So I think most people, they like put the kettle on, let it boil, make a cup of tea. Can you give us some tips for brewing really great tea at home?
Yes. So for the green tea, you want to use 175 degrees hot water. For the oolong, you want to use between 180 to 190 degrees hot water. If you're going to brew black tea or herbal teas, then you can bring the hot water to rolling boil, and that would be 212. But I know not everybody has the kettle. I know not everybody has the electric kettle that you can control the temperature.
Right.
So one thing that you want to remember is to visually look inside of the kettle and see if the size of the bubble is the size of the crab eyes, then that's 175 degrees. If you want to bring it to the oolong temp, then look for a fish eyes. Then if you need somehow 200 degrees hot water, then look for the size of the pearl necklace, that pearl.
Sure.
That would be the perfect bubble that you want to have. And then turn off the heat and then use the hot water straight from the kettle. Then you won't burn the tea leaves and you can get the perfect cup.
I forgot about the crab eyes, frog eyes. Pearls trick. That's really cool. So water temperature is really important for these teas, and black tea is obviously a little hardier, stronger. It wants a higher temperature than the green teas, would be something gentler.
Yeah.
Any other tips for brewing at home?
If you can somehow get the freshest tea leaves, that's a closer step to the success. If you're going to store your tea leaves in a cupboard, then find a place that's dark and cool. You don't want your tea leaves to pick up any scent from the same cabinet. So I would avoid storing it next to spices.
That
if
makes
you
sense.
can. Anything with a strong scent, tea will definitely pick up. So one thing I tend to do anytime I move into a small new space, then I gotta open up the cabinet and stick my head in and make sure the cabinet itself doesn't have any scent.
Wow.
And then I inspect it, and if it passes, then I will put my tea leaves in it. You don't have to put it in the freezer or fridge if you are going to brew it constantly.
I mean, everyone should probably just have a tea wall anyway. So there you go. Are there some places in Vegas where for people who want to buy like a beautiful full leaf tea?
Yes, there are a few places in town. So if you're looking for the wide variety of tea, just the intro level, something that's please the whole crowd, you can go to Sheffield's on Eastern. They have a huge selection of tea leaves that you can see the leaves in the package. That's easy to shop. If you are picturing yourself more in this, like going to China, like try a very authentic tea buying experience. Go to a specialty store. There's nothing but tea at the shop. You can go to Grand Yunnan. They are located on Sahara. It's a little peculiar location. If you Google, the stripper's shop will pop up on the image, and it's a little messed up, but you can definitely find a tea shop next door. If you're interested in making an appointment, talk to someone and let them guide you what kind of tea that will suit you, then you can go to Tea and Whisk. They're in Chinatown, little off of Jones. So those are the three options.
Thank you. When I'm brewing my tea, can I just take any like tap water, Las Vegas tap water, or should I be using filtered water or distilled water?
You don't want to use distilled water. If you can, if you can use the filtered water, that would be ideal. Just because the mineral content in Las Vegas, those mineral bond with the element of tea, and it just change the color and the flavor. We just want the tea to be really neutral. I don't know if you can use this portion, but I'm going to mention it anyway.
Okay.
I love going to Vesta with a very empty, my own bottle with me and fill it up from their water canister. Because Vesta Coffee, as far as I know, they're the only one in town make their own water.
What do you mean make their own water?
They have this room dedicated to make their own water. Of course, they pull from the city pipeline, but then they strip all the minerals as much as they can and put the type of minerals that they want back in a system, and that goes through the coffee machine. So every single coffee, I believe, including ice, that they use in the shop is the water that they make.
Oh my God, I love this tip and behind the scenes knowledge. Okay, I mean, we'll just say it on the down low. Go steal water from Vesta. You obviously love tea. What is it that you love about tea so much?
Tea is so inclusive. I used to be a wine broker, popping bottles and going to bars and selling wines to bar managers and people who make purchasing decisions. But then when you really think about the end user, the wine, it's such a fun drink. But if you're pregnant, you cannot drink it. If you're younger than 21 years old, the chance for you to be able to enjoy all the wine is really small. When it comes to tea, you can start your day with a tea. You can end your day with a tea. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you choose decaffeinated tea, you can share the tea experience with a young one in the family. If you're about to go to bed, but you don't want to consume any caffeine, there's always something that you can choose from the whole world of tea. You can pick yourself up with a cup of tea. You can calm yourself down with a cup of tea. It's so inclusive. Tea is for everybody.
Okay, Yukino, rapid fire. I'm going to tell you what food I want to eat, and you'll tell me what tea I should pair with it. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Okay. A bean and cheese burrito from Roberto's. Maybe some guac.
This is the problem that I have. Sorry, I'm thinking I know too many. I just need to make it affordable, approachable. What's the good tea? How much do they go for?
$4, I would say.
I want to have oolong tea, but served iced.
Okay, so second option. Oh, perfect for City Castle Las Vegas. Shrimp cocktail.
Oh, seafood.
And a sort of tangy, spicy Tabasco sauce.
I go for hot tea and like clean your palate, but then it really complement that seafoodness. I would go with Japanese sencha. Hot.
Love it. Hot. Love it. Okay, so for dessert, did you know that a beard papa opened up here? Cream puffs? Okay, so I'm going to have a vanilla beard papa cream puff. What should I eat with that? Drink with that?
Something unique. I would go with a Japanese black tea. That's something that's getting really, really popular in America. It's been, I think, for a little bit in Japan. The number of production is getting bigger. More quality Japanese black tea is coming to States. So you can have hot Japanese black tea, wakocha.
With my cold puff, wait, I can't say the word, with my cream puff with a cold like custard center and then like a hot Japanese black tea. That sounds heavenly. So when I pitched you those food items, what qualities of the food are you thinking about when you're deciding what tea to pair with them?
I will think about the flavor profile of the tea, flavor profile of the food. I can go the same line or completely opposite. So if the tea, let's say Japanese green tea, sencha green tea, bancha green tea, is known to have this seaweedy sea note.
Oh.
And there's a whole chemistry and there's a actual explanation why you pick up the seaweedy note from the Japanese green tea. But knowing that, I can pair with the seafood, hot or cold, cooked or raw, they go well together.
Wow.
The food doesn't have to have the seaweed in it. It's just that anything from the sea, anything with that sea flavor profile will go with the green tea. And it's also a good palate cleanser if it's hot. If it's cold, then it's really thirst quenching. It's good over the throat. Like you have this big bite, you drink that gulp, the liquid down, then you want more food, you want more drink. If it's the spicy food, hot liquid will emphasize the heat, the spiciness on your palate. So do I want that? Or do I want to offer cold beverage that's going to calm down for you to pick up less of the heat on your palate?
Enchanting.
Those are the things that goes to my mind.
Oh, so why should Las Vegans drink more tea?
It helps you to hydrate. It energizes you, and it helps you to calm down. Tea's for everybody. That's all I can say.
Yukino, thank you so much. This was a lovely conversation. And now, I think I really need to get a bubble tea in my body.
Yes.
That's all for today here on CityCast Las Vegas. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend? Rate the show and leave us a review and subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Take care.